Well, now let's cross to Tripoli and our correspondent there, Jack Barton, for the latest developments in Libya. The opposition says it has deals to exchange oil for weapons with Qatar. Meanwhile, US Defense Secretary Robert Gates claims Libyan rebel forces need training rather than weapons. What's the situation there?
Well, the rebels themselves would probably argue that they need both in equal measure. And I think to some degree we're seeing in the last few days that's exactly what they're getting. In the last few days we've seen the irregular units, the rebels who largely consist of civilians who've picked up guns and gone to the front. They've been replaced by the units from the Libyan army which defected about 1 month ago. We've also found out that those defecting units from the Libyan army have been providing intensive 25-day boot camps to selected groups of rebels to kind of bring them up to speed and get them down the front and actually acting like soldiers. We're also seeing a lot of new equipment coming onto the front line. We have no idea where this is coming from or who's funding it at the moment, but there are mortars, there are rockets, satellite phones, expensive and high-tech communications devices. But we've also heard from the opposition government finance minister, Mr. Ali Tahuni, that they have struck a deal with Qatar, which should see the oil supplies that are currently held in the east. Those are supposed to be quite substantial oil supplies to be sold to Qatar. Now that should be able to raise millions, if not billions of dollars to buy weapons, food, medicine and other things for the rebel war effort. Now what they haven't outlined though is how they're going to transport this oil, which of course is very difficult, and more importantly how they're going to get it out of the country.
And geopolitics are playing an important role in the Libyan conflict, as Muammar Gaddafi has been relying heavily on tribal support. As far as you can discern, are more tribes supporting than opposing him?
Well, that's right. The tribal system is hugely important here in Libya, and it's very difficult to get a full understanding of the dynamic of this conflict without really understanding that system. There are about 140 tribes in Libya. Mr. Gaddafi comes from the Gaddafi tribe, which is actually one of the very small tribes. So he's had to cultivate allies amongst the bigger tribes. And where he's done that is mostly amongst the Wafala and the Magaha tribes. Each of them has about 1 million members. Now remember that Libya only has a population of about 6 million people, so that represents 1/3 of the entire population. Now the way Colonel Gaddafi has made these allies is by taking members of these tribes and giving them many senior appointments in the government. They also largely dominate the armed forces in this country. And at the moment that loyalty seems largely unshaken, so it's fair to say that he does have the loyalty of roughly 1/3 of the population of Libya. Now the tribal system is obviously playing a big role in the conflict, but when peace finally comes, as it always does in any conflict, it will probably be the tribes that play a large role in this peace, especially the Wafala tribe, which is one of the only tribes that has members right throughout the entire country.
OK, thank you for that update. Jack Barton there in Tripoli.